This tutorial is designed for people who have no experience in OnShape whatsoever. We are going to create a name tag that is 30 millimeters wide and 120 millimeters long. It's going to have our name embedded into it, so not out of it, but into it. And it's going to have a hole at the end for a keyring. So that's basically what we're creating. If you think you can create that without watching this video, please just skip ahead and create what you think you need to create. Just be aware that if you create it wrong, it won't be able to be 3D printed. So it needs to be 30 millimeters wide or 3 centimeters, and 120 millimeters long or 12 centimeters long. So we're going to go through, and this is going to be done in 5 simple steps. The first step is to create a new document in OnShape. When you first log into OnShape, it will look something like this. You have a create button up here. That's an important button to remember. You also have a panel down on the side, and there is a big area in the middle. You have nothing in the middle yet because you haven't created anything yet. But I have created a number of things. I can click on the Owned by Me, and I can see all of the things I created, including the name tag that I made to generate the pictures for this presentation. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a new document, and I'm going to call mine the tutorial name tag. You can call yours name tag, or you can call it your name, but it's going to be called name tag. So I'm going to hit create. Now that I've created a new document, it will take a while to load. Once it loads the workspace, let's just have a quick look at the workspace. First thing you'll notice is in the middle of the screen, you have 1, 2, 3 planes visible. Those are items that you can draw sketches on. Over on this side here is a viewport adjuster, so you can actually change the perspective that you're looking at your viewport by clicking on various parts of this. For example, if I click on the front button, it will show me the front view only. That will be important later as well. And up here we have the toolbar. This toolbar will change depending on what we're doing, but you're going to spend a lot of time looking for things up here that you need to do. But this is how we've created our document. The next step is step 2 is to draw a sketch in OnShape. Now a sketch needs to be attached to a plane, and there are 3 planes to choose from before you've started drawing. So now that we've got our document ready to go, we're going to draw our first sketch. There's a button here that says sketch, and we're going to click on that button to create a new sketch. It's now going to ask us to select a sketch plane. We are going to hover over the top plane until it is highlighted yellow. We could draw it on the front plane or the right plane, but we are going to draw it on the top plane. So I'm going to click on the top plane. It's now going to say top plane in here, and now I'm going to look at the top button over here. This little menu up here can get annoying, but don't be tempted to either press tick or cross on it, because once you do, it will take you out of the sketch. I'm going to do it as an example. I'm going to tick on tick, and you can see that that sketch is now, I'm not in it anymore. I can't draw anything. I need to double click back into that sketch, and now I can draw things with my sketch tool. I'm going to draw a rectangle. The rectangle tool I'm going to use is the corner rectangle tool. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to move my mouse over to about here, and I'm going to click and let go of my mouse. It is not click and drag, it is click. I'm going to move my mouse over here, and I'm going to click again. That's approximately the size of the rectangle I want, but it's not exactly right. It's 48.1 millimeters by 105.734 millimeters. I'm going to use the dimension tool now. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to let it go. And now I'm going to click on the top line. I'm going to let my mouse go. I'm not going to click and drag. I'm going to click on it. And then I'm going to click again. And it's going to allow me to change this adjustment. Remember, I said it's going to be 120 millimeters. I'm going to press MM to make sure it's millimeters and press enter. If you're not working in millimeters, you need to come up here and change your workspace units and make sure that you're in millimeters here. I'm just going to press X to get out of that menu. I'm now going to press double click on the sketch to get back into my sketch menu. I'm going to continue with my dimension tool over here, and I'm going to click on this line. I'm going to let go of my mouse. I'm going to click over here again, and I'm going to type in 30 for 30 millimeters. That is going to be my rectangle for my name tag. To get it into the middle, I'm going to use dimensions again. I'm going to click on this circle in the middle. I've still got dimension tool on. I'm going to click on this bottom line, and I'm going to make it 15, which is half of 30, away from that line there. And I'm going to click on this line over here. I'm going to click on the middle, and I'm going to make that 60, which will align it perfectly with the middle. My sketch is now finished. I'm really happy with it, so I'm going to press the tick button. Once you've completed your sketch, you need to make it 3D. Here's how you do that. I'm now looking at it in top view. My sketch isn't looking very 3D, so I can actually move back over here until I've got this little corner highlighted and take it back to the top. And I'm just going to turn it around by pressing these buttons until I can see right and top and front in that configuration. I'm now going to make it 3D by pressing the extrude button. I click on the extrude button and I just ignore this menu for the time being. I'm going to click over here and it's going to set to extrude up my shape into a 3D shape. The current depth of my extrude is through 25 millimeters, which is 1 inch. I'm going to choose 3 millimeters and I'm going to press tick. I now have my first 3D shape. You'll notice we're going back to step 2, draw a sketch. You need to draw a sketch on a plane. A plane can now be any surface, including or any plane, so you can see the front plane, the right plane, or the top plane, or any surface on the 3D shape you've created can use to draw a sketch. This is a repeat of step 2 because this is how it works. We repeat step 2, which is draw a sketch, we make it 3D, we draw a sketch, we make it 3D until we've finished. It's now time for me to draw a sketch on a surface. So I'm going to click on the new sketch button like I did before. But instead of selecting one of these planes, I'm going to make sure I select the top of my rectangle. I'm not going to select the side of my rectangle. I'm going to select the top of my rectangle. Make sure that the top is on the top. Otherwise, if you select the bottom, you'll be selecting the bottom of your rectangle. So I want to be able to select the top. I'm now going to go to top view, so I'm looking down on my my rectangle, and I'm going to use the text tool. I'm going to draw out a rectangle in my text tool by clicking and dragging this time, not clicking and clicking, and I'm going to put in some text. My name is Mr. Clark, so I'm going to put it in. You probably can't use too many more letters than that, so if you've got a name that doesn't fit in that space of what is that? That's 7 letters and a space. You need to actually probably shorten it. You can change your font to any of these ones here. It's not a full choice of font. I'm just going to leave it at Alerta Stencil. And I'm going to press the tick button. You can now see that my name has basically gone bigger than the square. So I'm going to use the dimension tool once again to fix things up. The first dimension I'm going to set is the dimension between this line at this right end and this one here. And I'm going to set that to be 10 millimeters. That will give me a space to put the hole. You'll now see that it's actually shrunk it down a little bit to fit in space. The next one I'm going to play around with is I'm going to play around with the distance between here and here. Now if it's still sticking out, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to press escape. And I'm going to click and drag on that one there so it's inside the space, so it's not overtaking the space. I'm now going to press on the dimension tool and click on this line, then this line, and I'm going to type in 3 millimeters. That's made it nice and big. The final one I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the bottom line and then the bottom line of the actual rectangle. And I'm going to play around. I'm going to start with 3 millimeters. I don't like that. It's too far down. I'm going to double click on this. I'm going to go with 4 millimeters. No, not quite right. I'm going to go with 5 millimeters. That's looking better. let's just be really pedantic and go 5.5 millimeters. I'm happy with the space below and above that. I'm trying to get in the center. So now that I've done that, I've completed my sketch. It's time for the next step. Once you've drawn your sketch on your surface, you make it 3D. So I'm looking at my name tag, Mr. Clark. I'm just going to look at it from an angle so that I've got the top at the top and it's round the right way. So I'm just going to clicking on these so I'm happy. I'm going to use 2 fingers on my trackpad and put my arrow in the middle and just drag it down, and that will zoom in. And now I'm going to press the extrude button. I'm going to highlight it so that the whole of my name is now highlighted, and it's going to come out by a whole inch. I don't want that. I actually want to remove. And I don't want to remove the whole way through. I just want to remove 1 millimeter. So remove up here, and then 1 millimeter, and then press tick. That will have my name indented by 1 millimeter. So now we just need to repeat steps 1 and 2, sorry, 2 and 3, not 1 and 2 as it says there, until we are finished. So we'll work through that now. So the final thing I want to do is to put a little hole in the end. I'm going to create another sketch. It's the same step, create sketch and then extrude. I'm going to do this in one big hit. So let's just do it now. I'm going to draw a sketch on here. Let's go to top view. I'm going to zoom in with my mouse pointed right at the middle and zoom into this point here. And I'm going to draw a little circle. So I've got the circle tool and I'm going to draw a little circle around about here. Okay, I'm going to use the dimension tool straight away. I'm going to dimension from the middle of the circle to the top. And that's going to be down 15 millimeters, which it gets it right in the middle. And then that's going to be in from this side to the middle here. That's going to be in 5 millimeters, which will get it nice in the middle there. And finally, I'm going to set the dimension of the circle, the diameter of the circle, all the way across. It's going to be a 4 millimeter hole. So that is my hole drawn. I'm going to press the tick button now. I'm going to change the view so that I'm viewing it from the top. Let me just keep on turning it around until it's around the right way. I'm going to zoom in with my mouse in the middle. Wherever I zoom, by the way, that's where it's going to zoom up on. So I'm going to zoom with my mouse on my circle. I'm going to press the extrude button. I'm going to press on that, and it's going to extrude it up at 25 millimeters. I'm going to click on remove. That's going to put a hole through it, and I'm going to press tick. So now, if I bring my mouse out and just look at different views, that is my name tag ready to go. Once we are finished, we need to export our item for 3D printing. That's a fairly straightforward exercise in OnShape. Once you've done that, you need to submit it to your teacher as requested, and they will be able to queue it up for 3D printing. Okay, the final thing that needs to happen is for us to export it into a format that the 3D printer can take, and that is called an STL file. So we need that STL file. I'm going to right click on this part down here so you can see the part that we're doing here, and I'm going to right click on export, and I'm going to rename this now. It's now called Part Studio 1 Part 1. I'm going to rename this as Mr. Clark name tag, and I'm going to press export. That is going to go to my downloads folder. So you can see I've got 2 of them now. Okay, that's gone to my downloads folder. That's the file I need to submit in order for it to be 3D printed.